and I did want to post a video last week with an update and showing all the progress that I'd made, but unfortunately last Monday I received some bad news. Basically, for my full-time job, I manage a photography studio for one of the largest luxury department stores in the world. I'm not allowed to publicly disclose, but you can probably guess who it is. And they will be shutting down this studio, which in turn means that myself and one of my staff members, we're all losing our jobs. So yeah, I found out on Monday that as of the end of April, I will no longer have a job here. As you can imagine, on Monday, I was really upset, shocked, yeah. And all last week is just kind of like mentally processing what is happening and what is going to be happening, and what that means for the flower farm, because the fact is I don't have any capital behind this, so the funding for it was, you know, on a monthly basis from my wages, and it just kind of feels like, you know, kind of like the universe having a joke at my expense. You know, I just got this piece of land and I just started to do the work, and kind of the rug's been pulled out from under my feet. So I don't quite know how things are going to progress from here, because I did have a plan that I was going to do a video and explain, and, you know, financial plan and everything, and I really wanted to, you know, bring you guys along step by step with this, you know, really well organised and thought out plan. But unfortunately it's not going to work like that. You know, and I'm faced with the prospect of that at the end of April, you know, might not have got a new job by then. It's, you know, it's a really difficult climate, I think, at the moment with Brexit and COVID and everything for job seekers. And, you know, yes, I've got transferable skills, but also what I do is a very specific job in a very specific industry. So unless someone's for a role is looking for someone with transferable skills, and they're not looking for someone who has specific experience in a different industry, then I'm going to find it a little bit difficult. I'm not giving up on the flower farm. I still have the piece of land, and I'm going to still be working it as best as I can, but it's not going to quite, you know, be as straightforward and, you know, the way it was just, it's not going to happen the way that I imagined it would happen in my head, because now I've got, you know, this to worry about, a job, etc. You know, and the thing is, the frustrating thing is, if this had happened like a year down, like if I was like a year into the flower farm, or if I knew I could definitely make money from it, or it was in a position to give it a go, you know, I'm the type of person that chances are I would just turn around and go, you know what, let's just do it, let's just see if I can make money from this. But I'm not. I'm right at the start, right at the very beginning, and unfortunately, you know, I've got bills and rent and everything to pay, so I'm not in a position to, you know, pack in a full-time job and you know, give something that's not even really ready to try and, you know, see if it could be a business yet. So yeah, that's why I haven't posted. You can imagine, just spent the last sort of week picking up the pieces, so to speak. Yeah, but after this little self-pity party, there is some footage of some work I did just before I got the news, because you can imagine I haven't done much on the piece of land all last week. So there's a little bit of what I did, and I will keep working, and I will keep posting and doing updates. I just needed a bit of time to process what was happening. Obviously the main expense and the main stress I have at the moment with the piece of land is the fence, because obviously that's a condition for me using the piece of land. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, I think to fund that is going to use up quite a lot of money. As I said, it's going to be about £800 to £900. And obviously budgeting is a huge thing now with this news, but I need to get that fence in, so I'm going to try, and then after that we just have to wing it and see what happens. So yeah, enjoyed a little bit of footage of me nearly getting hit by trees as I cut them down, and I'll keep posting and I'll keep updating. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's just an unfortunate turn of events, and it's just frustrating that it's happened right at the start of this journey. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, I lost a glove. So there's this chicken wire, and unfortunately the trees have grown into the chicken wire. Like the chicken wire is embedded in the trees, so I need to cut them down at this level, and then I want to throw them over there. So I might start with the two at the back, get rid of them, so I've got a clear pathway, and then these I've got, I don't know, these are going to be tricky because I can't really like take down these with this chicken wire in the way. I should have bought wire cutters. I'm going to see if I can. So I did put a link to it, and I mentioned it in the description, because I completely realised that I've never actually mentioned what I'm using in a video, and that might be something that's interesting to people, is that the tools I'm using, because most of them I will have gone out and specifically bought to do this. So this is my Allister electric reciprocating saw. I'm lucky because my plot is right next to my garden. I can use extension cables, and I can get electric right from the start all the way to the end of the plot, so I can use electrical equipment rather than having to rely on, say, petrol equipment like I did on my allotment. So on my allotment I used very little tools because I didn't have as much access to things, so I just had one petrol strimmer, and then I hired a rotavator, and that was it. All the other tools I used were like a spade, you know, a shovel, a rake. You know, I wasn't, you know, the only other tool I had is a cordless electrical screwdriver, and that's that. Whereas here, you know, I can use this. I've got an electric chipper, and any other tools that I need to buy specifically for work on here, I can go for the electric option rather than the petrol option, which A is usually cheaper, and B is a little bit better on the environment. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get on. so now I'm onto this first, so that's cleared. Onto these now, which I'm worried about. Look how tangled they are and how thick some of the trunks are, and then they're all intertwined with that wire. I mean, that one that I just took down, that was difficult in itself, in that it felt like it was going to go over the wall, but I managed to use my body weight and pull it so that it went off in the direction I wanted. Whereas these ones scare me a bit, because I don't, if they're all entangled and they're all caught up in that mesh, you know, what happens if, like, I have to cut them all and then try and pull them all down at one time? Okay, well, let's go for it. I'm just gonna do it one by one and just see where I'm at. If it feels like it's getting a bit too tricky and that I'm gonna end up damaging the wall or something, then I'll stop. This is another problem here. Glass everywhere. Of the smaller ones. Now I'm on to the bigger ones. Now I just want to show you here exactly what's happened. So if you look down here, this is one tree, but it's put out 3 trunks. So in theory that would be pretty simple, you know, 1, 2, 3. However, let's move up. Those 2 trunks are fused there, and then there, and then there. So and then they have fused into the following. Look, it's fused. So in theory there are 3 trees here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trunks between them, and 5 of them are fused together. So if I was to cut through the bottom part of all the trunks that are fused together, in theory that would be one huge tree. This would all come down as one. I don't think I want to do that. So the other option I have is to take down where they branch off individually again up here. So that's, you know, all of these bits. I think there's a couple that are fused there, but you know, that looks like it's fused. But that would be like less risky. But the only problem is I'm 5'2", I'm short, which means if I cut and it goes to go, it's more difficult. If it's higher up, I'm having to put down the saw and reach up and grab it and pull it in the right direction. Now 9 times out of 10 that's been fine, but there have been a couple of times where the tree's just gone before I've had time to pull it, and luckily up until now everything has fallen in the correct direction when it's done that. But if I'm cutting like this one here and it goes to fall, I'm telling you now, that's going over. Look how far out onto the road it already goes. So that's going over the wall if that decides to fall on its own. And I don't know if I'm quick enough and tall enough to put the saw down and quickly grab it, or even if I'm tall enough. Look, my full reach is there. That is, I can barely reach like the bottom of it. I don't even know if I'd be able to support the weight of it. But I know for a fact if I did cut down all the bottom and try and move this whole thing as one, that's too much. I could only get it to fall in that direction, and I don't want to, because I'm not strong enough to lift that thing up after it's fallen and move it over there, which is where it needs to go. It needs to all go over there, because I need to clear this space and have this space completely empty for a pallet to be sat with the fence and stuff. I'm just gonna have to go, aren't I? I'm just gonna have to try and cut them from the top where they branch out, and then take this chunk out like from here to here, and that's fine because I'll be able to lift that. Okay. For today, I hate leaving jobs unfinished, but I have another job that was actually my main job that I wanted to do before it got dark, and I thought I'll just quickly do this, it won't take long. But that mess of trees, yeah, that's going to take me a lot longer. It's tricky. I might even get I have a step ladder at home, so I might bring the step ladder round so that I can get up higher and get a good grip on the branches as they come down. So I'm gonna leave that there, and I'm gonna go start on the other job that I was meant to be doing.